Hey everybody, this is Johnny Drum from Watershed Teardrop. Camping, kayaking, and fishing. It's a chilly day out today, and I'll be in the camper later this week. And we're just going to do another segment on fishing and tying flies during COVIDia that we're living in, trying to find some ways to kill some time and maybe get yourself ready for ice fishing season or fly fishing season or whatever, or if you just want a new hobby. I just figured today we'd cover step 2, kind of in the fly tying world. I'm using this book. It's The Art of Fly Tying, The Freshwater Angler, but there are tons of books out there and opportunities to purchase equipment and stuff. I always say support your local shop first. Anyway, what we're going to do to keep this simple, remember these are supposed to be 6 minutes in length without me describing it for 6 minutes. But we've already chosen we talked about hooks, we've chosen our hooks. I'm going to show you that this hook here is a large hook, but you can see the barb on that. So they recommend if you're gonna compress that barb, so you want to use barbless fishing. If you do a lot of catch and release, and you don't necessarily want the fish to get hung up on your hook, or you're going to be doing to make it a little more challenging, give the fish another opportunity to get off your hook, you can bend that barb down. When you're fly tying, you want to do that before you tie your fly. And the rationale is that if for some reason you break the tip off of the hook or something after you've spent some time tying a beautiful fly, that you didn't just break the tip off and then it just becomes a beautiful fly on a piece of metal. I'm trying to stuff a really large coat hanger-ish type demonstration piece in this, in my vise, which probably isn't good for the vise, but I'm trying to demonstrate it to you. Anyway, that's the beauty of being live. Anything can happen. But anyway, I've got this in here. And when we talk about hooks, again, the smaller the number, the larger the hook. And this is just a demonstration. The different types of hooks that are out there. It's my little demonstration right here. So this, it can be considered a straight eye. But some of your hooks have what's called a turned up eye, or your other hooks have what's called a turned down eye. And we talked about it earlier. You take your recipe. This is an old example of a fishing recipe, and it tells you the hook that you're going to need, or the style hook that you might need. And this here is a good example of, this is a nymph and wet fly down eye, size 10. So you can see right there, it tells you virtually everything. If you're like, hey, I'm going to tie a certain type of fly, a lot of the companies will have this right on there, so you know exactly what to use. And once again, there are different styles. Those we use for tying some wire flies. Anyway, what we're going to do today is, this is your bobbin. This is what holds the thread. Okay, this is called the bobbin. But to simulate it so that you can see it, I made the mega bobbin. Yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you will, the Arnold Schwarzenegger of bobbins. But anyway, so you want to set your hook up, and the same thing when you talk about, like we did with hooks, when you talk about your material, the old standard out there is silk, but they make everything up to and including Kevlar, rayon, gel spun polyethylene, nylon, and the number of the silk, 6/0 being a real common silk thread. And I guess in the old days they used to denote it with zeros. So you have 2 zeros, which would be 2/0, or 6 zeros, which would be 6/0. And the higher the number, the less strength it has. So the smaller the number, the stronger it is. And we're going to use 660. And I made the mega bob in here just basically to show you the basic techniques when you start to tie. So you're going to take your tag end and you're going to place it on the side towards you. And be careful, remember there's a tip here, typically. So when you're winding your thread, you're going to wind away, and you want to be wary of that tip so you don't accidentally cut your thread. So we're just going to line that up on the hook like that, and we're going to wrap forward, keeping it nice and neat. And then you can wrap back simply like that. Now, if you're going to tie hackle on the rear, then you would bring your winding back closer to the rear. If you're going to tie our materials up at the top, then you might want to start further up. And you'd lay your tying materials on top, and you'd simply wrap your thread around whatever material you were going to do. All right, a lot of some of the patterns start at the rear, like I said. So you'd wind this all the way back and then put your thread at an angle, remember, so we don't want to hit the tip, right? And then put your materials on and tie them in. And that's basically it for getting started. You have this tag end off, you've already wrapped over it, and the wrapping is what keeps it in place. If you want to use a flex cement or a cement, that's fine. Then you trim that tag end off, and that's it. And that's pretty much how you get your thread started on your fly hook. All right, there's a bunch of colors out there, a bunch of styles, and there are umpteen articles on it that you can find that get more into detail. Once again, we're trying to keep it simple. Around 6 minutes, we're at 7.5 minutes. But that's basically it. So I hope, if you never thought of fly tying, I hope this is a way to get your thinking about it. Once again, this is John from Watershed Teardrop Camping, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.